Hey y'all, welcome to my happy place. I've just had these thoughts about men's fellowship and men's ministry, and I've had basically due to my hobby, and I got introduced to a new hobby 3 years ago, and it's kind of taken on a life of its own. I love inviting people to participate in my hobby, to join my hobby, to introduce people that have never done my hobby to do my hobby, and it has been such an incredible journey doing this. So long story short, 3 years ago I bought my first firearm, and it was for self-protection with work, and it kind of took on a life of its own. I really enjoyed it. I found my time at the range to be so enjoyable. At first I was going to an indoor range, and it was it was at that point so much fun. It was like, I cannot believe it. Why did I wait till I was 59 years old to buy my first firearm? What have I been missing all these years? And so one thing led to another, and my first firearm turned into my second, and so forth. And so I found that bringing people out to shoot with me, whether it was at the indoor firing range or not, was really, really enjoyable. I just love bringing people with me. I met a fella at one of the gun stores that I frequent, and he invited me out to this outdoor range, maybe 17 minutes from my house, and oh my goodness, y'all, to shoot outside, wow. So I came often. I have a flexible schedule with work, so I would come in the mornings or come in the afternoons and learn more about firearms. I really got into it. I'm a trained certified firearms instructor, range safety officer, refused to be a victim, seminar instructor, and I just loved introducing people to firearms and reintroducing some people. Like, I've met so many people that didn't know that this place was here, and they really didn't like indoor firing ranges, and so they got to come out here, and maybe they hadn't shot in years and years and years, and it was incredible. So I started inviting family members and customers and clients, and then I started really getting convicted about my lack of real fellowship. So you guys that are married might agree with me that our spouses tend to spend time with other women, and they'll go shopping, or they'll go, really the big thing is with my wife and some of her girlfriends, is she will, they'll go to a coffee shop and talk for 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to do that. And when I was doing I still work, but I'm no longer in a 9 to 5, a 7 to 7 job. And in those years, 30 years of that, it was, I go to work, I come home. When I come home, I think about work, and then I go back to work. Or I go to work, I come home, and then I go to grad school, and then I come home, and then I go to work. There's so many times in grad school where my wife and our 4 little daughters would meet me at Chick-fil-A. I think I did so much of my coursework. I did so much writing and reading and stuff at the Chick-fil-A by us. And so many times my daughters would have dinner with me and my wife at Chick-fil-A. So I remember my daughter always offering, hey, my friend's husband is so-and-so, and you would really like him. And I'm like, okay. And I would just go to work or go whatever. And I was watching her build these rich relationships with folks. And so the level of my relationships, I had, my brothers, my best friend. And so I had him, thank God. But other than that, it was, just kind of a low level kind of relationship thing with other men. Certainly had acquaintances or friends at work. I even did an outdoor boot camp thing, and that was great as far as getting some exercise. But really, it was just I'd see them at the workout thing, and that was it really for me. And I really felt like I was the weakest link out there, and guys that were high flyers, that were the big heavy hitters as far as fitness. I was like, yeah, I'm just over here, don't mind me, kind of thing. So then I realized, I had more flexible time to have fellowship with other men, and then it kind of dawned on me with this awesome place, and I belong to other gun ranges too. What an opportunity to invite other men to come shoot. And so it has turned into several days a week. I'll invite, and I'll still come out here once in a while by myself because I want to do a certain drill or fire a new gun or, practice whatever. And, but it's so much more fun to bring someone. And I started being intentional and it started with my life group. I invited the guys from my life group, and almost all of them came, and then they, ended up joining the club also, and we just have a great time with fellowship. And so it really isn't about the firearms anymore. It's like firearms are our excuse to come out and fellowship and share and pray and be a blessing to each other. And that, so I invite some men out here, and we'll be out here for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And I've been out here before, and we haven't, and I'll have all my guns laid out because I have more than a few, and so I'll bring them out for these guys to see and shoot, get an idea on a second or third gun for themselves or a first gun. And there are many times we'll come out here for 2 hours and we don't fire one round. We don't. The guns are laid out. They'll even bring their guns. They'll lay them out. We'll get to talking, and it has just slowly morphed. And now these men are coming back with their sons, their daughters, their spouses, and I'm teaching more and more folks, more about this hobby that I really, really enjoy. And we talk about, it's oxymoronic. I guess people that aren't into this realize that they might think that, this makes you really aggressive, that I'm just pretending like I'm killing someone or something. But it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, being safe, being accurate. It is a sport. And it is everything is meditative about it for me. So when I invite people out here, I usually have, and I don't have it for today, but I'll usually have coffee set up, and I'll have, all the firearms, anything that I just assume, especially if they're a new person coming out to the range and I'm not sure what they have, I'll just assume I'm prepared for them to come with nothing, and then I will have everything they need. I got this idea from my brother Guy, who has taken people hiking, and I mean challenging hiking, for almost 40 years. And I'm not a camper, and I know that when I've gone with him, man, he has everything. He has thought of everything. He is prepared. He is safe. And so he's been doing that for 40 something years. And he's been encouraging men's ministry and men's fellowship unintentionally, because he just loves bringing people to go do this. And he's built some rich relationships over 4 decades of doing this. And then, so getting back to my hobby, especially when I bring someone in new, or it's it's one of my buddies' sons or daughters or their spouse, or whoever, or it's just like I invited our youth pastor out. He was new to this, man. He loved it. You just leave with, and I coach them up. We start with 22 caliber and then go to 9 or maybe 380, and it's just so much fun. They leave with so much confidence, and then it's built this connection with them. And so much of the time, I am praying for them. I am praying with them, and they're talking to me about real life, and I'm talking to them about real life, and we're talking about, real life, even career things or financial things that you might not even be ready to share with your spouse yet. So it has just been an incredible time. Now let me clarify that. Sometimes, and it kind of, I'm sure it depends on your spouse. Sometimes if financially the poop's about to hit the fan, I know with my spouse and a bunch of my buddies' spouses, they don't need to know all the dirty details. They need to know that, we're going through something. I'm going to push through it. I got a plan. I'm not there yet. We're going to be fine. But sometimes you want to share like your fears, like that, like really sometimes you're not sure if you're going to be fine. And so you need someone to kind of point you back to the Lord and focus on Him. So here's the thing, what I've been thinking about as I think about men's ministry. So I was talking to a buddy and actually went shooting with him, and he's very involved with our men's ministry. And I know that in a lot of the churches that I've gone to and have been a member of, their men's ministries are kind of one-dimensional. It's not as robust as the women's ministries. Almost every church I go to, man, the women's ministries are just off the chart. My wife is big into that, and man, she's been teaching women's discipleship and leading Bible studies for as longer than we've been married. So there's this idea of, at least for me, I'm really not I really don't participate in men's ministry at the church level much, because my limited experience with it is, hey, come hike, come take 4 days to go hiking part of the Appalachian Trail and poop in the woods. And we're going to sleep out. There's no nothing. It's you're peeing and pooping in the woods, and you're hiking, and you're carrying this stuff. And so, for the majority of my life, really overweight, really out of shape, weighed over 350. This boy is not doing a whole lot of hiking. Really doesn't do it for me. And then sometimes but if that's, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying that doesn't scratch the itch. That doesn't get, I don't think, as many men as you could have involved in something. There are a large amount of men that are not going to want to do that. I'm not saying don't do that. Do that along with this other weird approach. So hang in there. I have this idea, and I really want, if you're involved in a men's ministry that's already doing this, I want you to contact me. I want to talk to you. If possible, I want to go visit your church. I want to talk to your leadership. And just this idea of, at least in my world, down here where I am in South Carolina, I'm unaware of a men's ministry that is focused on what I'm trying to share, and I'm going to get there. I promise. Hang in there. And I'm really going to want your feedback. Is this a pipe dream, or does this work? So my idea is not to get all the men shooting guns, and every man should join a gun range, and you should be inviting men to shoot with you. No. This is just my hobby. So here's my idea. Rather than just waiting for the church to decide, okay, we're going to have a 4-day men's hike thing, or we're going to have a wild game night where you're eating bison and deer and all these exotic game foods, and then and there's a gazillion men there, and just with that I'm kind of out. One, the gaminess of the food, sorry, I know I'm Southern, sorry family, but just hundreds and hundreds of people. I guess I could, no, not go into that really. I don't know anyone there, and so I'm gonna, and then they tend to have, like, I call it, in every industry I'm aware of, including the industries where I've worked, there's this, I call it success porn, where you just have the most successful person possible come speak to your group, and this to provide motivation or something, and sometimes it just comes across as, you're not doing it right, start doing it like this and be successful like me. So I'm kind of turned off by that. I'd rather hear just a regular guy talk. So that's another one, big game night. Not going to do it. Keep doing big game night. I'm not saying stop doing big game night. Do the big game night. That scratches the itch for a lot of men because they go hunting. I'm about to get into that and leveraging that to do something similar to what I'm doing. Hang on there. And then the other thing is, like a quarterly men's breakfast, and sometimes it's homemade food, and it's a Saturday at 7. I can get up early. When I'm hosting someone out here, I'm up at 4:15, 4:20, and I'm so excited about my hobby. Every time I get to meet someone out here, and tomorrow I'm meeting a buddy and his wife, and so that's Christmas Day. That is Christmas Day. Today's Christmas Eve. I'm so excited, and I just want to. And when that stuff happens, I'm hardly shooting myself. I just so enjoy helping people get into this hobby. It is so meditative and calming. How's that possible? But it is. So for me, this whole process, and probably it is with your hobby too, and I'm about to get into, here's my thesis punchline. How could we, as men, as Jesus followers, especially if we got gray in our hair, how can we leverage our hobbies to invite other men into fellowship, and how can we encourage them and bless them? So I'm not just talking about, hey, let's come shoot or let's go do whatever, but it's fellowship, and and it's going to take more than one visit, but I'm making a connection, and my goal is fellowship and encouragement and being a blessing and saying a blessing onto them and their families. I'm doing this, and I'm getting such a blessing from this. It is just, unbelievable. So the whole process of me getting ready to meet someone out here to shoot is such a meditative, so tonight, oh my gosh, I'm going to be thinking about it, and then I'm going to probably wake up before my alarm, so probably around 4, my eyes are going to pop open, and I'm like, it's Christmas Day. And so it's the whole meditative, I'm going to go take a shower, I'm going to get dressed, I'm going to go out, look into my safes and just decide, okay, this fella's coming, he's interested in sighting he got a red dot for his everyday carry, so we're going to spend time doing that. His wife has hardly had a chance to shoot her 365, and so excited about that, because my first real carry gun was a 365. But he was interested in maybe, and this is kind of the thing with your hobby, it's always what's going to be my next purchase. And so for him, it is the idea of, he'd mentioned maybe a revolver or maybe an AR. And so I have some of those, so I'm going to pick some to bring, and that whole meditative process. By the way, that's the sound of freedom you're hearing, so hopefully you can still hear me. And so that whole meditative process, and it takes so much time to load all the gear and the things, because I try to think of everything to bring, so that it takes time to choose what I'm going to bring, pack it, load it in the truck, and then it's get out to the range as soon as possible, and then set up, totally set up. And so I will have these mats, a mat like this on the 2 tables that are at this range, and I'll have some things laid out for him to consider, him and his wife to consider shooting. I'll have mats over here for all their stuff. I've started bringing a coffee pot so my Keurig is out, and all my gear and all my cleaning equipment and repair equipment and all the things that I can think of, safety gear, eye protection, ear protection, extra batteries. You know the thing. If you have your hobby, you know how prepared you like to be. So, forget that this is my hobby. Maybe you're offended by my hobby. I am so sorry. I really think that if you shot with me, your mind would be changed. But that's for another time. But I'm talking to men here, Jesus followers especially, that whatever your hobby is, and I'm calling you people with gray in your beard or on your head, that this idea of using your hobby to bring other men into fellowship with each other and spiritual encouragement and prayer and blessing. That has been one of the biggest things, is offering a time of blessing onto these other men. And that's a whole other video. I think that our churches have kind of missed. Other faiths have, the being a blessing, and especially the patriarch being the one who provides a blessing in the name of the Lord onto other folks. That is in my experience, a missing component of what I've experienced in churches in my area. I've really never heard of that until recently. So, hobbies. So I haven't chat GPT'd this, but there are so many hobbies, man. Whatever you do, invite someone younger. Start with someone your own age. Get your buddies. Get off the couch. Go do this. Some of you guys have careers where you're flexible with your time, or you're retired. Take advantage of this. Man, younger men, and I'm talking about 30s, 40s, 50s young, man, they want and need a blessing from older men. They want and need real fellowship with discussion. Now, I don't know many men that are going to meet me, and I don't want to do this. I don't want to meet a guy in, at Starbucks or Panera, and let's have soup and a bread bowl and talk for 3 hours. But boy, when we're out here shooting, we might be here two or 3 hours, but we certainly aren't shooting the whole time. We're maybe shooting 15 minutes of the 2 hours. So with men, we need to be around a campfire. We need to be over the. I remember one of the first house we bought was in a cul-de-sac, and the guy next door had like an old Chevy that he was constantly working on with the hood up, and that was a magnet to the men in our cul-de-sac, and it was just so cool to just be around that car, shooting the you-know-what, and just hanging out with these guys. Fishing. Dude, some of you guys like to go fishing, or you used to like to go fishing. Man, take a man fishing. Invite him to go fishing with you. So I'm talking about this is what's different than just a men's ministry thing. So if the church says, hey, we're all going fishing, come on and go fishing. Well, most men I know, including me, I don't even know that the church has done that. Like, it might have been an advertisement on the church screen and I was talking to someone and didn't pay attention, or it was buried in the newsletter, the email, and I missed it. But even that's not a real invitation. An invitation is when I call you or see you, and I keep calling and seeing you and inviting you with excitement. I'm inviting you to come do this with me. You are going to love it. You don't have to bring anything. So fishing is my thing. And there's whole kinds of different fishing. There's do it in a boat. Do it from a pier. Go crabbing. Go deep sea fishing. Whatever your thing is. You don't have to learn anything new. Maybe you've hung up your rods. Man, break them back out. My favorite kind of fishing, cane pole, crickets or worms, little bobber. That's all I need. Catch me a little brim, bam. Whatever it is, do that. Maybe yours is working on cars. Maybe yours is firearms. Maybe you like to go deer hunting, turkey hunting, quail hunting. Man, a buddy invited me to go quail hunting. First time I've ever been hunting, period. That was a year and a half ago, so I was 60 years old. First time going quail hunting. Borrowed a 20 gauge double barrel shotgun from my brother-in-law. Oh my God, that thing was sweet. And went quail hunting. Oh my goodness, what a fun experience. And that is him going hunting is it. That is, just like this is my happy place, that is his happy place. And so maybe some of us older guys have, maybe our happy place used to be somewhere outside, and maybe now it's the couch. But I think it's possible to get back into that and start inviting younger men to be, just to listen to them, to encourage them. And so especially if we have a flexible schedule, we're understanding that guys a little younger than us, man, they're working 50, 60 hours a week. And so it might need to be a Saturday morning, a Saturday afternoon, a Sunday, or very early or very late, flexible. So there are so many hobbies. So I didn't want to cheat and do Chat GPT yet. So I started making a list of some of the hobbies. So let's see what I had here. Stand-up paddle boarding. My brother, who does everything, does that. Kayaking, kayak fishing, fish for brim, dove, quail hunting, bow hunting. Maybe it's just archery for a sport and it's not archery for hunting. Maybe it's archery. Maybe, if you've got a compound bow and you used to shoot that, dust that joker off and invite someone and maybe one of their kids to go bow hunting. Man, that's such an iconic thing for when we were little, and we would have these little teeny plastic bows with string and little arrows with plungers on it and do that thing. That's such an iconic thing for when we were little, and we would play pretend, and then we'd have 30 or 40 years in industry or whatever we're doing for work and career, and all that stuff has just gone away. And it's an opportunity to help the younger group of men get involved with a local church, to have fellowship, to maybe encourage them to get more into the Word, spend some time in prayer with them, and be a blessing on them. Some of the other ones, so maybe you don't do handguns. Maybe you're a long-range rifle guy. I know guys that are in the 22 rifle competitions, and there are these like competitions that aren't like cutthroat. It's like just a fun thing to go do. There's maybe you do black powder, maybe you do reloads, and you're gonna invite me to learn how to reload. I'll do that, or go shoot a musket. Come on, man. Whatever it is, man, dust that thing off. And maybe you can't hardly get around, and you can, man, just go do something. Get off the couch and get outside, especially get outside and get fellowship with other men. So what I'm doing, I get such a blessing from inviting other men to come take part in my hobby, and to come and to return with their families. It's kind of selfish. This really is a big blessing to me. Some of the other things, knife making, all kind of woodworking, metal working, painting, drawing, sculpting, all these things. And and don't be thinking, oh, no one would want to do that. Man, go talk to someone, send them a video message. Go see, when you see them at church, if you see a man at church, they're probably coming to church and they have zero real fellowship, spiritual fellowship with other men. They're going to church and they're probably thinking about work, or they're thinking about getting a big piece of fried chicken at dinner after church. But it's unfortunately, if we're not intentional, work and family kind of take the place of fellowship and even spiritual growth. Auto body repair, walking nature trails. Maybe you're not hiking the mountains, but you like to go walking or bird walking, or you're hiking the local trails around your place. Maybe you like motorcycles. Maybe you got a dusty old motorcycle in the garage and you're going to do that. You're going to bust that out and find some other men that maybe have motorcycles and leverage that into an opportunity for a fellowship. And so it's going to be a face-to-face interaction. So depending on the size of your church, so if we have X amount of men that we want to invite to, the men's breakfast or the big game night, or have a speaker or the something or whatever, maybe a handful of people come or no one comes, because there's this blanket invitation that's going to do it. It's not going to do it, at least not in the churches where I go. But man, if you individually encourage other men to, hey, I'd love to get to know you better. I like to do this. Why don't you come do that? Would you be interested in doing this with me? And so whatever your hobby is, it doesn't matter. Maybe your hobby is financing, or maybe your hobby is, finance, or maybe it's something like you do wills and estates. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of 30, 40, 50-year-old men, they don't have all that squared away for their families. And, that would be a thing where you could, talk to a couple of men and really offer something that is really, really valuable, that's needed, that might get some men's attention to come to that, But whatever it is, and I know that there's a million different hobbies that men around the world are involved in. So my thinking was, instead of waiting for my church, my local church, to invigorate the men's ministry, our men's ministry can be invigorated one man at a time. So if, maybe the men's ministry wants to have men at a certain event, maybe 12 men come. Well, keep doing that, I guess. And maybe, and there's a men's ministry of, and I see it all the time. Sometimes I'll stop at Hardee's to get a biscuit on my way here, and there are these older men with the gray, or they have no hair like me, and they're in Hardee's with their white tube socks and their New Balance shoes and cargo pants. And bro, keep doing that. Keep having fellowship with those men. If that is your thing, do your thing, whatever it is, whether it's exercising or walking. I mean, whatever your hobby is. I don't think you need to chat GPT hobbies, but hopefully you got one. If you don't, start one. Invite someone. So imagine let's say 12 men come to a monthly men's breakfast. Well, what if we had 10 men each ministering to 5, 7, 8, 10 other men, and started to invigorate them in getting real spiritual men's fellowship, real discussions with other men, getting them outside, getting them their mind away from work, and even if there's family issues or extended family issues or whatever's going on that's really occupying their brain, getting them involved in the hobby allows them to kind of meditatively focus on something else. And it's a great opportunity to be a blessing. So I really want to hear from, I'm just doing this on my own. I haven't used AI to hey, who has men's ministries that are like this, or what are some ideas that we can do? I haven't done that yet. But man, I would love if you are like-minded, or you have some ideas for me, or if you disagree, let me know in the comments. Reach out to me, man. If you've got something going on, if you got a hobby you'd like to invite me to partake in, invite me. If your church is already doing this type of thing, where you're having some events, but then you've got a core group of men that are being intentional on getting, especially the older men, involved with younger men. And that could be 30-year-olds involved with 20-year-olds, or 18-year-olds, or whatever. Let me know. I've got another. There's this idea of there'll be another video on this part, and that is being a blessing. So really, my life was totally changed. Was it earlier this year? Yeah, we did a grandparenting thing with my small group, because we're grandparents with very young grandkids, and the idea was blessing our grandchildren. And we got into the biblical idea of being a blessing and providing a blessing, and how biblical that is, and how powerful it is, and how it's such a common thing in Judaism, but in my experience, absent in my faith. So that has really changed things for me. I think that I've missed a boat on that. I think all the local churches that I've gone to have never discussed that, and I think it's a great opportunity for men to be a blessing to other men and the families, and to provide a blessing. And when you do that for someone else, or you receive it, it is a powerful, powerful thing. So another video on that. I would love to hear. I would love to hear your comments. And again, this is about invigorating the men in your area into men's fellowship based on your hobby. Certainly doesn't have to be firearms, but that's just the excuse, the thing that gets me in fellowship with other men and has blessed my heart. And I hope I'm being a blessing to them. Thank you.